Hello, this is Eric of Not Bio Studio, and welcome to my review of the Xvive LV2. Now, the system you see is this one right here. I review a lot of systems, so if you're new to this channel, there's a lot of devices I've reviewed, being it lavaliers, or even devices I haven't reviewed yet, and different microphones coming in. If you don't have a good lavalier type device, such as the Xvive U5 that has lots of gain, it becomes very, very hissy. That's why we're going to use our Zoom F3 with adapter to get the cleanest audio to find the actual noise floor of this particular wired lavalier. Like if I were to use this with, say, the Rode Wireless Go, it definitely does not like this device at all. If I use it with my Saramonic, it is a bit hissy, but it's not bad quality whatsoever. But the audio does have a high noise floor for this particular system. But first, let's see what's in the package. So when it comes to the packaging, we have a box. We also have our famous silica gel. Nothing like some silica gel to make your day better. We have our microphone clip, as you see here, and we have our lavalier fit into the small little tight to fit in hole. Made of metal, except for this part, it's like a plastic, hard plastic. It's not going to break apart. It's actually quite durable, so it should be good. And this part does swing around, so that's pretty cool. We can adjust it without having to redo the placement on our clip. Now the lavalier itself is fairly small. It has a nice locking mechanism on the bottom here that does not come off. And we have a little lavalier the size of a grain of rice, no joke. This is super, super small. The smallest one I've ever seen. Here's a 3.5 millimeter jack. And here's the actual mic. Crazy, isn't it? It comes with a small little tiny foam for getting rid of plosives and some wind noise. But generally, when using it on your talent outside, you'll hide the microphone in your clothes, as I did with Extreme the Movie Part 1, 2, and 3 when I used that particular microphone for all the outside audio. We also have a carrying case. Nice Velcro pouch where you can put everything in. Our lavalier, our adapters, our foam muff, and we also have a small little user manual showing the Xvive U5 in the picture. But let's see some details. Is omnidirectional. That means all around. There's no direction for it picking up specifically. Our sensitivity is negative 40 dB, plus or minus 3 dB. Our equivalent noise level is 28 dB SPL. Our impedance is 4.5 kilo ohms. Our frequency response is 50 to 20,000 kilohertz. Most microphones, high-end, are 20 to 20,000. Mind you, that 50, if it was lower than that, that's for very deep sounds, lower than your voice will actually sound. So we're talking about really deep low-end rumble. So we don't need that 20 hertz. Being 50 is like having a small low-cut filter. Now the battery range voltage. So for voltage input power, you want between 0.8 of a volt to 5 volts DC. Our battery drain, we can see it right here, the listing. But let's see. The important part is the maximum input level. That is 117.5 dB SPL. That is our sound pressure that can take before it actually distorts audio. 117.5 is very decent. The audio we're hearing now is through this particular wired lavalier. Right now I don't have the foam on it, and the foam is very difficult to place on it. However, we want to test the foam on and the foam off to see the difference. Of course, being so small, this is very easy to hide on yourself if you are an actor, especially with some fabric tape or something. Being this small, you can hide it pretty much anywhere. Now, what happens if you have a keyboard? This is a membrane keyboard. This one's not overly loud, but let's do a quick test. With our little chiclet keys, has a little bit of clicking noise. This is the Logitech MX keys. Now let's go to a mechanical type keyboard. This is a very clicky type keyboard. This one is my video editor. It's like the old 80s mechanical keyboard. And this one's very clicky, so let's see how this works. And how was that? Generally, the closer you are to a microphone, the better the sound quality will be. In fact, let's test that in a moment once I have the foam on. But before we do that, let's do a quick mic test. Mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3. Mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3. How am I coming through with the foam on versus the foam off? You be the judge, but now it's time to test some distance from you. Mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3, mic test up close and personal to find out if it's plosiving really easy or not. Maybe let's just try behind the ear or something crazy. Mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3. And the one nice part is you don't really get much handling noise by the cable itself, so that's pretty cool. If I wanted to, I could just put a little microphone right here and talk into it just like it was a big microphone, like the one that's down below where you can't really see it. And we can do an announcement or speak any way we want, so that's pretty cool. The Zoom F3, by the way, is through 2-bit float. It goes to PC. I'm going to take the audio from my camera, record it with this microphone, overlap it with the best audio possible that I know if I can get with this particular device. Since this does require input power, I do have this Rode VXLR Pro, and it allows me to do basically any lavalier I want, even though this is an XLR device. But yeah, I love this particular microphone for its clarity, its dynamic range. No matter how high you go, you are able to capture the audio. So there we go. And using it outside, it has no firm up. You could keep the foam on if it's not windy, but if it's windy, that's where you're going to hide it inside your clothes, and that is going to protect from wind. And when you do that, don't use the foam, because if there's something about foam, not sure if you can hear that or not, but it causes some sound in your audio as you move around in your clothing. But if I take this foam off, check this out. If I do touch the microphone itself, it's going to make noise. But generally, it's going to be in your clothes a lot easier. That's where you get some fabric tape or something and just hold it there. So as you move around, it shouldn't rustle on your clothing so much, and you'll give yourself better audio. Because if you heard my Extreme Movie 1, 2, and 3, the only time I got distortions is because I have my mobile phone too close to this, and it caused problems with my particular Xvive U5. Does my volume change? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. And testing 1, 2, 3. And testing 1, 2, 3. Generally, if I face up, that should have changed the volume a bit. I have no clue, but we'll hear on playback. In fact, let's have a little bit of fun and go outside of this particular microphone just to show you, if you hide it in your clothes, what you can get for audio sound. And just for testing purposes, I'm now using my Xvive U5 connected to my digital camera, my Sony ZV-1, volume 7 out of 30. How am I coming through? So this is not a device you have to use, since I do have my Saramonic Blink 500 Pro X version to test. Right now I'm testing battery life, but it's taking for a while for the batteries to die. Right now I'm using my Saramonic Blink 500 Pro X with my Xvive LV2. And mind you, again, this is a microphone that requires a lot of gain to get any sound out of it. This doesn't have the gain level of the X5. So how is this working with this particular microphone system? And just for giggles, let's test with the DD Pocket Wireless to see what kind of volume or sound quality I can get out of that using my LV2. Now the part I like about my DD Pocket Wireless is it's fairly small and it has really good volume output, and it has a locking mechanism on it. And right now I'm using my Xvive LV2. How am I coming through to you? Right now I'm in a noise treated room. Let's see what happens when we go to an untreated room. Let's see, going through the door. And we're going to get to a very echoey place like we're right now. How am I coming through? Do we hear lots of echo? Because I certainly hear a lot of echo right now. So that's how it handles untreated solid echoey walls, which I hear tons of echo. And that's what you get. When it comes to this particular microphone, remember to leave the foam on if it's sitting on your talent just like so, unless you're planning to hide it within your clothing, in which case the foam will cause a lot of rustling sound. In terms of an untreated room, it's really good compared to, say, the Rode Lavalier 2 at handling reverb in an untreated room. Now let's get outside and see how this sounds. So if it was windy, I'd clip this inside of my jacket. There is a bit of breeze right now at the moment. Let's see if I can get that breeze. And there's some work being done in the distance. I can hear that loud noise. Now it kind of stopped. There it goes again. And then I flip over my jacket, and there I go. I now have less noise coming through, and you won't hear any wind noise. But I might be able to get some rustling in my clothes. So sometimes I take advantage of the clip as well, and then I just lightly clip inside my shirt. And since it's such a small little grain of rice microphone, I could take off the foam or leave the foam, but take off the foam has less rustling to it. Again, you can use fabric tape. That's probably the better way to go because you can avoid having rubbing of your clothing and avoid noise. One thing this microphone did really well at testing outside is rejecting a lot of the background noise. Unless you want to record birds and everything else, this will capture your personal audio very well compared to a lot of other lavaliers that get every type of sound. When used outside, the self noise really doesn't matter unless your audio system that you're recording with is really lousy and itself has a lot of self noise compounding any other self noise. In the case of my Zoom F3, it's pretty darn decent. It's about as good as it gets when recording 32-bit float internally, and I simply capture the audio through the camera and line it up and be done with it. Now in terms of other lavaliers, of course I review the Rode Lavalier 2. We're also going to be reviewing the Sennheiser MKE Essential, which I haven't even tested yet, so I don't know how it sounds. It's totally brand new. And of course the Shure TL47, a professional lavalier with seriously low self noise with seriously good dynamic range. This review just came out as well, which should be out before my lavalier review, among many other items I review here, including the DJI mic. So look around, and if you're looking for something, click that little magnifying glass on my video channel and type in the name of the product you're looking for. I might have reviewed it, or feel free to leave a comment and see if I can find it for you, if I reviewed it or tested it. This is Eric of Not Bio Studio. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day. Yeah, anyways. La, 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 la.